There's only 4 games on Monday, so let's dig into them. Let's look at what we're watching for. Let's look at streaming options. Let's do it all. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and first off, the swag is crazy. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more and start the season with a big return by getting $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Also, check out LockedOnDaily.com. You can find a newsletter for your favorite NBA team. All of the information that you need, newsletter form delivered to your inbox. Also, double bang, thumb up, leave your comments. 4 games on Monday. A little bit of a later start, 7:30 p.m. Eastern is the first game, and a lot of these teams do have back-to-backs. Remember, this is the beginning of the stupid Week 7 if you play on Yahoo, where Yahoo has incorrectly combined Week 7 and Week 8. Well, not incorrectly, maybe they deliberately did it. In fact, they obviously deliberately did it. I just think they did it for the wrong reasons and they didn't know what they were doing. But that is okay. Just be aware. Be aware of your acquisitions for this 2-week period because they do not reset on Sunday. You've got 14 days and whatever your acquisitions are, hold. Be aware of that. Be aware of that. Yes? We don't know who plays next week. We don't know the schedule. Everyone will play. We just don't know the schedule yet, so I can't really do much with that. We're going to talk about what's happening this week. We're going to talk about Monday. We're going to talk about the 4 games that are on. We're going to talk about values that we can look at and stream. And this is a quite low volume day, obviously. There's 4 games on. And that's something we can take some advantage of. But as always, be cautious with your ads. And if you play on ESPN or if you play on Fantrax or if you play somewhere where you've got an ability to customize the schedule, which from memory, no, I don't actually commission any leagues on Yahoo anymore. I don't believe you can even change the schedule over there because, why would you? Why wouldn't you want that ability as a commissioner? So, you can't change that. On other sides, you can. And what we did for the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl is the actual game week 8. I combined it with game week 9 to form matchup 8. So that'll happen there as well. We're talking about the games. We're talking about what's on my radar for these games on Monday. I will keep reminding you, I am waiting for more people to start to figure out about this Week 7 thing in Yahoo. And I'm sure the Yahoo Fantasy Cares Twitter account is going to be, I'm sure they're not going to be overwhelmed with people responding to them and then they'll have nothing to say to it, I'm sure. Let's talk about that first game of the day. It is the Pelicans and the Atlanta Hawks. That's the first game of the day. The Pelicans are on a back-to-back. They play on Sunday, so that makes their team a little bit hard to figure out. Schedule-wise, it's Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday for the Pelicans this week, while Atlanta is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Alvarado's going to be out. Zion Williamson's going to be out. I don't believe that Herb Jones is going to be available to play. Herb is out on Sunday. I'm also pretty skeptical that Trey Murphy plays. Now, he is playing on Sunday, but he's dealing with a hamstring issue, which kept him out to begin the season, and then he suffered a knee knock, and he has sat there back-to-back so far. Now, there is a possibility that Ken Murphy does play on Monday. At the moment, I'm putting him as doubtful, so when I'm talking projections for the Pelicans, at this stage, I don't think Trey plays on Monday. That's my assumption. Brandon Ingram has missed a bunch of games here in a row. He's missing Sunday. This is what he does. It's what happens to him all the time. He is an incredibly frustrating player, obviously. I don't know whether he'll be available Monday. I am putting him questionable. I would honestly, as soon as Ingram gets hurt, you always want to lean a little bit on the doubtful side of questionable because that's who he has been. And the other one is Jordan Hawkins, who has the back issue that... Not good, man. These back issues are real problems, and he came back from it, and he's sort of been in and out, and there is a chance that he plays. He's out on Sunday, Jordan Hawkins. Namur Legend could play on Monday. Maybe they're just sitting him on the back-to-back, but he doesn't really have any appeal for us in fantasy. Anyway, while Bogdan Bogdanovic for the Hawks, he sat out there last game. He was on a back-to-back, so I'm just going to go ahead and suggest that he's available to play. They probably also stick Trae Young on the injury report somewhere, but I'm pretty confident that... Rayford Young is available to go. in terms of what we're watching for the Hawks, last game we got better minutes from Zachary Ricochet, but was that only because Bogdan Bogdanovic was out? I think yes, but he played like 24 minutes in that game where he'd been like 17 or 18 in the games before. He was pretty solid in that game, Ricochet. I still don't believe that you need to be rostering him in 12-team leagues while Hunter and Bogdanovic are playing because A, he's not good enough, B, he doesn't play enough. He's not a player like a Lonzo Ball, for example, or a Jonathan Isaac, where if they played 24 minutes, you go, yeah, we're in. Like, let's go, that's enough. Ricochet needs 30-31 with decent usage to be a strong 12-team league player. And he's not getting it, so we don't bother with it. But let's see what the role looks like if Bogdanovic plays. Was that a push-up from Ricochet, or was that a one-game thing? In terms of streams, we are getting a lot of Yves Missi at the moment. He's on a nice little run after some struggles early on in the season. So, yeah, at the moment, we do like what Missi is providing. And with maybe a Herb or a Trey and an Ingram absence, as well as Zion and Alvarado, there's a little bit more for him to do. And he has separated himself from the Daniel Tice situation. The problem that we thought would be an issue is them having too many guys and all of them being non-centers, so limiting the center minutes. But everyone's out, so it actually doesn't matter. On the Hawks side of things, DeAndre Hunter is Dennis Greening himself here, and that is to say that he is who we thought he was. He's a player that can score, and he needs like 56%, 57% shooting to provide fantasy value because you'll get 3 rebounds, 1 assist, maybe a steal, no blocks, no free throw attempts. Well, actually, that's not true. His free throw attempts have been pretty good. But he is a volume scorer, which is wild considering what he was coming out of college, and an inconsistent shooter. You can obviously stream DeAndre Hunter. There is value in that. I just don't see him as a lot. To me, he's like a slightly better Harrison Barnes as a fantasy player, and obviously younger than Barnesy. But there's also a risk, I guess, here that Hunter doesn't play because it is a back-to-back, because he's been dealing with knee problems too. Although I believe from memory he did play in their last back-to-back outing. But he's had plenty of knee problems. He missed a million games to begin this season. I'm just going to double-check the Hawks in their last year. Hunter played their back-to-back 28 and 25 minutes. So I think we're good there. But it's about watching his shooting numbers and his efficiency in that respect. The second game of the day is teams that both play on Sunday, back-to-backs for both Miami and Boston, and these are two teams with a lot of players who could be at risk of missing here. The schedule, it's Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday for Miami, whereas Boston is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So both of these teams play the Sunday, Monday back-to-back, and then both of them have another back-to-back at the end of the week. Josh Richardson is out on Sunday. I don't think that he's not even in the rotation anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I don't think he plays Monday. Nikola Jovic, Little Chungus, he's out on Sunday. I don't think he'll play on Monday. And then we get to the Celtics portion of this. Now, that we know that there's a lot of rest players on this team. They are the current leaders in the NBA in load management. And cool. But what we know is that Porzingis and Horford and Jrue Holiday are all playing on Sunday. Derek White and Jaylen Brown are not playing on Sunday. White hurt his foot last game and he's out on Sunday. Brown popped up out of nowhere with an illness for Sunday and he won't play. But to me, this suggests that definitely Horford will not play on Monday and definitely Porzingis will not play on Monday. So we have no centers. And why they wouldn't stagger them, I don't know. That's what they're doing. So both of those guys are going to be out. The fact that Jrue Holiday popped up on the injury report on a back-to-back is a little sus, meaning, again, they're finding a reason to rest him. He is playing on Sunday, so I don't think that Jrue Holiday will play on Monday. I think the Celtics are basically going to punt that game. Because White actually does have an injury, I think that he's a 50-50 for Monday, whereas I do think that Jaylen Brown, I know it says illness there, I think he's a shot to play on Monday. But honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if all 5 of those players, Horford, Porzingis, Holiday, White, and Brown, are all out on Monday. And we're going to have at least 2 of them out. The 2 big men are definitely out. I think Drew's going to be out as well. And then it's the other 2. So I think you could have some wild stuff. Also, I'd be watching on Miami, which I didn't mention, Kevin Love, who's been dealing with back problems on and off. He has played some of their back-to-backs. I'll just put him on there just so we're aware of it. In terms of streams, Duncan Robinson's been starting over Terry Rozier, and we know that at times Spoelstra's rotation can be all over the shop. He might go to Huckers, he might go to Pele Larson, he might go to Alec Burks, he might go back to Rozier. He could do anything with this rotation at any point. So it is always risky with a dunk, but if Robinson's starting, yeah, there's a little bit there and some scoring and some threes. And then for the Celtics, it's going to be, I'm guessing, Nemesh Keita and Luke Cornett, who take the center minutes. And that means that both of those guys become streaming options. And on a per-minute basis, Keita is better. Now, on court, I don't know whether he's better than Cornett. He probably isn't. But he's been putting up okay numbers. He's a block guy, field goal guy, rebound guy. And there's going to be value here almost assuredly because those two players, there's no way that Porzingis and Horford play this back-to-back. There's none. So they are going to be out, and we are going to be able to find some extra value. We've got 2 more games to talk about, more streaming to talk about as well. But today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. We are heading into December. In fact, we're here already in December. And December can be a month of many different things. It can be a month of business. It can be a month of comfort. But what's your favorite part of the holidays? Like maybe that is just being able to snuggle up in the cold weather for you guys over in the States. Maybe it is meeting up with family. Maybe it is just staying cozy, a fire, a hot chocolate, a coffee, a mulled wine, if that's actually a thing. I don't know. But whatever it is, getting comfort, whether that is through those sort of things or from being able to talk through your feelings and be in a better place mentally, well, that's another form of comfort as well. And that's where therapy comes in. So if you've been thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. You fill out a questionnaire. You talk to those guys with that questionnaire. They match you up with a therapist. You chat to the therapist. You have a session. You see how it goes. If you don't click with a therapist, that's okay because you can change to a different therapist at any point at no additional charge. So find your comfort this December with BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Okay. We're gonna fly through here, and we're gonna get to the next game, the third game of the day on Sunday. It's another game involving a back-to-back. That's the Lakers. They're playing on Sunday. They're also playing on Monday on the back-to-back. They're going to Minnesota to take on the Wolves. Schedule-wise, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for the Lakers, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for the Wolves. Who's going to be out? Well, all the big men in LA, all the backup big men, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, and Jared Vanderbilt are all going to be out, meaning Christian Koloko is going to be the reserve behind Anthony Davis. I don't think Bronny James is going to play. And then we've got 2 really, really intriguing things because D'Angelo Russell's doubtful on Sunday with an illness, and Austin Reeves is questionable. And if Russell and Reeves are not playing, who's their point guard? Like, LeBron's going to have to do a bit of that. Like, we're going to get more Max Christie. We're going to actually see Jalen Hood-Schifino play. Who handles the ball? That is very interesting. Reddish is also questionable for the Lakers for Sunday's game, so I'll put him as questionable here. Anthony Davis is probable. I expect that he plays, but this could be a very, very weird Lakers team. Joe Ingles is dealing with a calf issue. I'll put him doubtful for now. It doesn't really matter because he's not in the rotation. On the Wolves side of things, what do I want to watch? Julius Randle. Because the body language king has been terrible. Like with so many of those things, it's a weird fit. He's a weird player to fit around. He's a guy that his supporters, which I'm assuming are dwindling every day, will say, well, he's actually been an All-NBA twice. Yeah, and both of those were fake, let's be fair. But he puts up good numbers, but there's always these weird fit issues, and the Wolves are trying to figure that out at the moment. I don't think there's any risk of Randall getting benched or anything along those lines, but we need to see what happens. Where do the minutes change at all? How does Chris Finch deal with this? In terms of stream guys, the Lakers, again, there's a million guys that could be out here. I like that they're giving more opportunity to Max Christie. He was pretty good in the last game. We watch it again on Sunday. But if Reeves and Russell are out, and not that Christie's a point guard, but man, he's a guard at least. So he's going to be able to come in there and I guess get some touches and handle the ball somewhat and be able to get some of those minutes that those other players, Reeves and Russell. Oh, the other point guard's Gabe Vincent, of course. I forgot about him. He's shooting off 4% from 3. So yeah, I did sort of forget about what Gabe Vincent was there. So he's also an option. And then Jaden McDaniels is always going to be the Dawson value there on Minnesota, the streamer. Who had some strong moments, but yeah, it sort of tailed back off again, which is just in keeping with Jaden McDaniels' career. The final game of the day on Monday is Chicago. They are hosting the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets play on Sunday as well. So it is a back-to-back for them, and they've got a weird bunch of injuries as well. The Bulls are 5-point favorites here. We're going to have no Day'Ron Sharpe. We're going to have no Cam Thomas. We're going to have no Bojan Bogdanovic. We're going to have no Noah Clowney. I'm fully expecting that Ben Simmons does not play here. He's playing on Sunday, so he won't play on Monday. Nick Claxton is playing on Sunday, but he's had a lot of back issues, so maybe he's not available Monday. I'm not sure. Dorian Finney-Smith has been ruled out on Sunday, so I'll put him questionable for Monday. On the Bull side of things, Pat Williams I've got as doubtful with a foot problem, and then Kobe White has an ankle issue, and he did not practice, so he's questionable for now, and we'll see where it goes. In terms of the schedule, it's a weird one for Brooklyn with Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, so a big gap in the middle there, while Chicago is Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday next week. On the Bulls, I am watching Lonzo Ball. Now, Billy Donovan came out and said Lonzo is playing, but he's playing 18 minutes. I believe he played like 21 last game, so did they push it too far? 18 minutes is not enough for Lonzo to be a 12-team league guy. If they say he's a 25-minute-a-night player, that means that somebody like Dosunmu, White, Giddey, or Levine is losing playing time. So how they handle that, we need to see. But 18 minutes is what Donovan said we're going to get from Lonzo. In terms of streaming guys, with Thomas out, Jalen Wilson is the guy I prefer, but you've got Zion Williams, you've got Shake Milton, you've got Keon Johnson, you've got, who's the other guy? Tyrese Martin, who had a big game the other day. Wilson's still the guy I go to, but it feels really, really weird on that squad. Dennis Schroeder is back on Sunday, so I expect that he's available to play on Monday too. And then for the Bulls, Dosunmu, the minutes are strong. The production's iffy, but 30 minutes, not quite guaranteed, but pretty close to guaranteed most days, is useful enough for us to use and stream in and feel relatively okay about. We're going to come back. We're going to look at more the streams of the day, a little bit of schedule, chunky stuff as well. But today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Get ready to take on all the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers will get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So in the middle of the game, you get a hunch. You can go onto that app, and in the same place where you would place your bets, you can see the live stats. You can see all of the live play-by-play action as well. And you go to just FanDuel.com right now. Join today and see all that stuff. And get started when you join at FanDuel.com with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. So never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, let's take a look at some schedule-based stuff. There's no back-to-back Monday, Tuesday. There's no 5s and 2s because this is the beginning of week 7 and no team plays 5 and no team plays 2. And we also don't know what's going on in week 8 yet. That schedule has not been released. But what we do have is an ability for us to get chunky. So Monday through Friday, who has got 3 games that we can take a look at? Well, we've got Dosunmu. We've got the Magic with Goga Bitadze and John Isaac, who is playing back-to-backs. You've got the Sixers with Gershon Yabusele. Now, I don't know whether Embiid plays, and I'm pretty sure Drummond doesn't play. So there's quite a bit there for Yabusele over that 5-day period. We did get Andrew Nembhard back for Indiana today, but they said that Ben Shepherd and Aaron Nesmith are still weeks away from returning. So TJ McConnell's value is still there. Less so for Quentin Jackson. Nembhard starting over him on Sunday, but TJ McConnell's got some appeal. And DeAndre Hunter, like I said, playing in the back-to-backs. Worth taking a look at in terms of the 3 games here over this period. So likely he does play in the back. I think I mentioned earlier about them having a back-to-back. They don't have the Sunday-Monday back-to-back. That's my bad. But they do have a back-to-back in this little period here, I believe. So Hunter would be someone to stream in with those 3 games in 5 nights. Now, let's look at streams of the day across the different individual fantasy-type formats. We'll go to just streams of the day in general. I do think that it is Dosunmu, who's only 20% rostered on Yahoo. He's 65% on our advanced metric on Basketball Monster, which means he's available probably for shallow leagues. For a 12-teamer, I am going to go with Neemias Queta. It makes me very nervous, but with no Horford, no Porzingis, Queta and Cornette are probably going to get those minutes, but Sneaky Joe Mazzulla has been sneaky at times, and sometimes he'll roll out a Tillman out there or a little 0-minute. Queta like happened in one of them, but I think Neemias is probably the guy to go for there. For 14-teamers, I am going to go with Lonzo Ball as an option. And then for deeper 16-team double Onyx, Diamond, Platinum, Titanium leagues, Jalen Wilson's not really rostered in many spots. I think he's actually close enough to a 12-team league player, to be fair, but he's available in a lot of different spots. For Yahoo and ESPN points, Dosunmu is looking pretty good to me in those spots. We go to just 10-team leagues. Again, this is using a 65% roster cutoff on Basketball Monster. I go to Dosunmu, Queta, Ball, Wilson. I also go to Zion Williamson in Brooklyn, who's had some stinkers. He is very inconsistent, but the role should be pretty good for him. And then Duncan Robinson as well as a 10-team streamer. For 12s, this is again with the assumption that Trey Murphy is out in New Orleans and Herb Jones is out and maybe Brandon Ingram's out. You've got Javonte Green there. There's Haywood Highsmith. That's more of a defensive stream guy. There's Luke Cornette. There's Trendon Watford for Brooklyn. Nickeil Alexander-Walker in Minnesota. And Sam Hauser, not Ahuza, which I wrote there. Sam Hauser for Boston with a lot of players potentially on the sidelines. For deep leagues, I am going with Kevin Love. There is a risk that he doesn't play given it's a back-to-back, but I think he's okay there. I've got Sticks, Jalen Smith, Shake Milton, Max Christie, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl for New Orleans, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. For a Yahoo points league, and it's going to be very similar for ESPN points leagues, but I'll put that up. Dosunmu, Yves Missi, Jalen Wilson, DeAndre Hunter, Neemias Queta, and Zion Williams. These are all players who are available in over 60% of Yahoo leagues, so I think they're useful enough. Remembering, though, if you are playing on Yahoo, be very, very cautious about using up all of your ads because it does not reset on the weekend. And then for ESPN leagues, we've got similar names. Dosunmu, Missi, Jalen Wilson, DeAndre Hunter, Neemias Queta, and Jaden McDaniels. And that, guys, brings us to the end of a preview show for Monday with the 4 games on. And if you are here and you're still here, just give it a thumb, give it a double bang, watch the video, listen to the audio, go back and do that again, or just let it play in the background on loop on your phone or on your partner's phone or wherever. Just grab it and do it and let it play out. And of course, you know, we're positive vibing here. We're heading into week 7. Thanksgiving is done. Christmas is coming up. Let's reflect on the things that we do good and other people do good without having to always be negative and tear people down. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.